Hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. What we're going to be looking at today is how do we solve quadratics when we don't have 0 on one side of the equal sign like we've had in the past couple of assignments. We haven't really had to worry about that, have we? The problems that we've been given always had 0 on one side of the equal sign, but now we're going to be faced with the challenge of solving something where we don't have 0 on one side of the equal sign. And as we've mentioned before, in order to solve a quadratic by factoring, you have to have 0 on one side. So let me write that up here by factoring. This problem that we're given, x squared minus 5x equals 6, does not have 0 on one side of the equal sign. That's not good. We need to have 0 on one side. What would be the fastest way to get 0 on one side? Well, one way would be to move these two things, the x squared and the minus 5x, over to the right. Or I could move this one thing, the 6, over to the left. I would much rather move the 6 over to the left because it's only moving one thing. So let's do that. Let's subtract 6 from both sides. And what happens is, on the right-hand side, 6 minus 6, how much is that? Well, that's 0. And that's exactly what we want on one side of the equal sign. What do we get on the left side? We have x squared minus 5x minus 6. Minus 6 isn't going to combine with any of these two things, which means we're just going to write them side by side. Everything is going to drop down, and we want to have the highest exponent first, followed by the next highest, x to the first, followed by the next highest, no x's. All right, we have 0 on one side. You know how to factor this. We need two numbers that multiply to what? Negative 6. I hope you said either out loud or to yourself. But those same two numbers have to add to what's in the middle, which is negative 5. So what two numbers make that happen? Well, let's think about it for a minute. If you don't see what it is right away, you can always do this on the side. List out the ways to multiply to get 6. And we want to somehow be able to get to 5, specifically negative 5. Well, 6 minus 1 is 5. I would probably start working with 1 and 6 and see if those numbers will be helpful to us. Now, one of these is going to have to be negative, and the question is it the 1 or the 6? We want to end up with more negatives than positives, so that means we need to have the negative on the bigger number. So the minus is going to get attached to the 6. Now that we have the numbers that make this beautiful magic happen, we can start breaking this problem up that we were given into factored form. X squared is like two x's, they are married, things are going great, honeymoon, and bam, they end up not liking each other anymore, they get a divorce. So they're going to live in separate houses. I'm going to put one x in the left and one x in the right parenthesis. With the remaining spaces, I'm going to drop down the numbers that gave me multiply to negative 6, add to negative 5. And that is positive 1 drops down, negative 6 drops down. And we're almost there. It says solve by factoring. We factored it, but we haven't solved yet. Solve means, well, tell me what x is. Or if you're using a variable of w, tell me what w is. So on and so forth. What we need to do is set each of these pieces equal to 0 and solve. Get x all by its lonesome. As the song goes, 1 is the loneliest number you'll ever know. Okay, subtract 1 from both sides. One solution is negative 1. Here, to get x by itself, we add 6 to both sides. And our other solution is x equals 6. All right, that's it. We've done it. We've solved this problem by factoring. So remember, the first thing you're going to worry about now is if you don't have 0 on one side of that equal sign, you need to get 0 on one side of the equal sign. Once you have 0 on one side, Go about finding the numbers that make the magic happen, factor it, and then solve by setting each factor equal to 0. All right, that's it. One more video example. Thanks for watching. Ciao.